Now or a T-shirt.
We are live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the webinar series of Cochin Ophthalmic Club. As I've mentioned in the beginning of every webinar, right from the time of the lockdown, we have been having webinars practically every week on various ophthalmic as well as non-ophthalmic subjects. We also have regular programs for postgraduate students, but today's program is different. We have a leadership session which is going to happen today, and the best person in the country to be addressing all of you today is with us, none other than Dr. S. Natarajan, who was the pioneer of the leadership development program in the country and a multifaceted personality. Other than being a great VR surgeon, he has varied interests in lot of other activities, including charity activities. He has been awarded the Padmashree by the President of India, and we are extremely glad and fortunate to have you, sir, in our midst today. He is going to give a talk to us, and then we'll interact with him with some questions. So for formally introducing Dr. Natarajan to the audience, a very close friend of his, a contemporary from Shankar Nethralaya days, Dr. A. Giridhar. So Giridhar sir will be now introducing Dr. Natarajan to the audience, and then we'll get on with the talk by Dr. Natarajan. Dr. Giridhar, please.
Thank you, Sai. Can you hear me? I mean, my laptop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, thank you, Sai. Thank you, Gopal, and my dear friends. I thank the COC for giving me this opportunity to introduce Professor Sundaram Natarajan to all of you. He's a very familiar face, and I mean, when Sai requested me to do this introduction, actually it brought back memories of a camaraderie which is practically more than 35 years. I first met Natarajan, actually, I mean, I'll just say a few words before I really want to introduce him. Way back in 1983-84, he was doing his DO in the Egmore Eye Hospital, and he used to visit Shankar Nethralaya. And my good friend at that time, very close friend of mine, Dr. Madhivanan is called. Madhi and me were very, very close during the fellowship days. Actually, I used to enjoy the dosas that Madhi used to bring for lunch. It used to be breakfast dosa, lunch dosa, dinner dosa. Anyhow, so Nati was introduced, and even those days, Nati used to wear a suit. Those days also, Nati used to be wearing a suit. The only difference is those days he was wearing a suit similar to what we wear these days. Nowadays, the suit that he wears, only Prince Charles and what you call the President of the United States can afford to wear. So that is the only difference. He has got a fancy for buying suits. I remember once when we were traveling in an international meeting, I don't know whether he remembers, Ale Banker also was there. And yes, suddenly he went and bought about 5-6 suits and brought. Both of us were looking at each other. So that is Natarajan. Anyhow, what I like about him, the positive energy. I mean, the moment he has come on the screen here today, he has brought in so much of positive energy. That is the greatest asset God has given him. I thought I will just focus on some of the lesser known aspects or contributions that Nati has done to science and retina and vitreous surgery in our country. I thought that instead of talk, I mean, everyone knows he is past president here, there, everywhere. He is probably the first person to use wide-angle visualization for vitreous surgery in India. Both the IBOS and the non-contact system, he is probably one of the first persons to use this in India. And actually, he really was very effective in propagating it in a big way. That is one of the most important contributions. Apart from that, what I can remember about Nati is that wonderful international meetings that he had in his early days in Mumbai. Actually, Nati was trained at Shankar Nethralaya, He worked as a consultant for some time at Shankar Nethralaya. Then he went to Bombay once he got married. And then he joined the Taparia Institute of Ophthalmology, if I'm not mistaken. And then he left Taparia and started Aditya Jyot. And I've gone for the inauguration of Aditya Jyot also, very many years ago, more than 30 years ago. And in Dada, in a small way, it was started. I have spent probably nearly 15 days, 1 month in the Aditya Jyot in those days. Anyhow, so he was one of the pioneers of using this wide angle visualization in India. He organized 2 or 3 very big international meetings where he brought in some of the pioneers of VR surgery, Stanley Chang, the great Ando. You would have heard about Ando's iridectomy. Ando was one of the faculty in the first meeting that he had. Then Zuo one of the pioneers again. He was very close to, Natarajan was very, very close to him. He's something like a mentor to him. So these are some of the real pioneers of VR surgery, which he brought. He had that meeting in the YB Chavan auditorium, if I'm not mistaken. And he had the last meeting the last meeting he had it in Shankar Nethralaya. And at that time, I remember Nicholas Zakau, one of the invited faculty, and he had a motivational talk. And the 3 words that he used that day in the motivational talk for young ophthalmologists: affable, affordable, available. These are the 3 things that an ordinary ophthalmologist should have to be successful in practice. So that is another very important contribution that Natarajan did for vitreous surgery by bringing, I don't think anyone has been able to do that in our country, bringing some of the greatest stalwarts in one platform for 3 or 4 days, sharing their experiences. Apart from that, he is a workaholic. In his younger days, he was really a workaholic and a man with phenomenal energy. Actually, me, I mean, we are like brothers because we used to share common things, our problems, etc. in those days. And when we meet in meetings, if we meet Natarajan at 10 p.m. in the night, we will just try to whisk off, because if you are caught with him, then the night is gone. But for him, morning, he is fresh as ever. But then he is a workaholic. He used to work 14 hours, 15 hours, 16 hours with the same amount of energy. So if you want to know what is behind success, it is basically the attitude and culture. He is a very religious man. I don't know whether he's got a vibhuti and chandanam there. He's a very religious person. Always in the morning, he has got his prayers. There is a, for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I don't know whether he still continues that practice. He has got those prayers. He has got a lot of books. And he has read a lot on management, motivation, etc. Some of these books, actually, the monk, what is the monk who saw, what is his name? I mean,
the monk who sold his Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Robin Sharma.
Robin Sharma. Actually, Robin Sharma's books and all he has read so many times. I mean, he has underlined. I mean, I'm a correct Nati. So he is, and then he has got a mentor. In a very close friend of his, Shivanandan, former IG of police in Bombay. I have met Shivanandan many times with Natarajan. He is something like a mentor, that is with whom, he shares all his, that's very important in life. I think you must have someone like that. So these are some of his great positive things, apart from his, his past president of the All India Ophthalmological Society, founder president of the Asia Pacific Ocular Trauma Society. Now he has started the Indian Tele-Ophthalmological Society. He is now very active in the International Council of Ophthalmology. He once told me he wants to become the Sheriff of Bombay. He has not yet done that. I don't know whether he may become the Sheriff of Bombay. So anyhow, I don't want to take more time. I'm very happy to give this small introduction of a great friend, a longtime friend, a well-wisher. He is also a recipient of the Oration Award that we give from our hospital. The SSM Oration, one of the early recipients. I called him here and gave him this thing, only appreciating his contribution to vitreous and vitreoretinal surgery. So with these few words, Nati, you can start your talk. I don't know whether there's any other, anything between Natarajan's talk and anything else, Gopal, or he can start his.
No, we can start, sir. We can start.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that this is this new series that we are bringing out to actually bring in the most illuminated personalities in the world of ophthalmology in India So we will introduce every month one national leader who has in their lives and times created a space for themselves and etched their names in the who's of the doctors of India. And I believe that motivation is definitely the key to success. And with a person like Natarajan, who's, the energy that he has is absolutely amazing. And it will lift the morale and kindle the spirits of all the young ophthalmologists who hear him. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Gopal. Thank you, Giri. Thank you, Dr. Arun and Sai Kumar. I'm happy, as Giri said, many things. I think what he said probably it will come as a great memory, Giri. I think what you did was amazing, which you will be seeing it right now. So the topic given is there a Nobel Prize to be won in ophthalmology? I just read what Dr. Azad mentioned, and I divided the talk as I am requested by Gopal, whatever work I've done, clinical, academic, training, research, business, leadership, and philanthropic aspects of ophthalmology. So is there a Nobel Prize to be won in ophthalmology? According to me, yes. And I wanted to tell this. In 2011, as editor of Indian Journal of Ophthalmology, I did 100 years of Nobel Prize winner, because even today, only one ophthalmologist has won the Nobel Prize, that was for clinical ophthalmology. I will come to that. And this is the question I have asked, and all this has been said. So what we are as a society is people of same matter, with each having immense potential. And that's what I hope to stimulate and inspire young people, because we are the thinkers, researchers, and with these capabilities, we choose our path. So beginning of the journey, one step must start each journey. All this I did. You can see there's a young monk here. And I think all this I did, even though I was not a monk at that young age, but I think looks like there is some Purva Janma Punya, or my parents and grandparents have done it. And I think I've done a lot of motivation myself. I was born in Madurai, the historic temple town in South India, where the summer festival, which I couldn't believe, I understood the meaning of Chitra Purnami and Meenakshi Kalyanam, and also Alagar, who gets into the Vaigai River. And that's my parents. This is the 50th anniversary, which I was in a rented house in, and that's my guru. And that's my mentor, my right now, because my parents, my grandparents, everybody has gone, but I have Shivanandan with me. He is my friend. And finally, Deva. So my 4 elements with their blessings. I'm a doctor working with the aim of nothing less than excellence, and only excellence. So here I reached the budding medical professional of the future, not just by preaching, neither by mentioning remarkable historic evolution, only nor by words of wisdom, but by sharing example of my own life, combining effect of these 3 to inspire the beautiful mind like you are. And I think whether young or old, you can do. And let me take this wonderful opportunity to share my story, my education. And I studied in this government eye hospital, which is 200 years. And I'm glad as the president of All India, I could celebrate all over the world. And then I'm proud of my parents for molding me into this position. My father, Dr. N.S. Sundaram, and grandfather, Dr. S. Natarajan, were government of Tamil Nadu servants. And that time it was Madras presidency. So my grandfather worked from Kanyakumari to almost Orissa, where Dr. Subudhi is practicing. And my father, Dr. N.S. Sundaram's gift to me was education. And my mother, Srimati Kamala Sundaram, extended all her support for my success. And on February 1st, when I was in Giri's house, my mother passed away, which was in 2012. And that's the only All India I attended for a day and then went back. I grew up in the government ophthalmic residence building. It planted a seed in my mind, leading me to the path towards the 3rd generation ophthalmologist. So you can see there, I'm wearing tie. I'm next to my auntie, who's the owner of these 3 men in this picture are the owner of RMK and Sons. And then the other guy with my uncle is the Vishwanathan, who passed away, who started and you can see Achi, who actually, me and Achi have stayed in Giridhar's house. And you can see me in tie, my father in tie, my brother in tie. Somehow, right from my schooling days, I knew I wanted to be an ophthalmologist, and I was wearing tie. And I was the captain of the Madras Medical College football team, athletic team. And also in the school, I was the vice president of the UNESCO club, where we conducted a mock assembly of the UN. and which was really great. We had all our classmates as various country representatives, and I acted as the UN Secretary General. And here you can see I was a long distance runner, and Dr. Laditha Kameshwaran, the first Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu MGR University. And the main thing was you have to have a sound mind in a sound body. And my first exposure to ophthalmic work, both my grandfather and my father were in the same hospital working in eye camps as a volunteer. I was writing notes, shifting patients, assisting. And my father was the in charge of the Kalangar Karunanidhi eye camp from 1972. And my grandfather, Natarajan, did camp in Dindigul, Kallupatti in 1960s. I was 3 years old. And I lived in Dindigul for 1 year. And I would open and clean my dad's clinic, which was in Ranganathan Street, Tinagar. I attended patients with simple jobs like putting drops in their eye. No wonder it has been said, learn to be with the wise and your life will flow and glow. And I think when all my school friends were playing with somebody, and I think I was opening the clinic, but I never felt like a child labor, even though a lot of people used to tell, I realized it later. But I don't know how. And education is not what you get from books. And the knowledge you earn with simple life experiences from people and events that surround add up to the knowledge you hold. Everything you do with thought, put it into it with a constructive purpose adds to the bigger picture. And when I was done with the clinic patients at home, I would look deep into my dog's eyes with my father's direct ophthalmoscope, discovered at the age of 10 that the dogs have a glittering retina. I didn't know what it was. And every time it was doing, and I remember seeing my father removing foreign body using needle, and which was sterilized in the hot water, and then he will hold it with the Chiatal forceps and remove it with a needle. So I did that with my dog, and then the dog slapped me. And that's because I didn't put anesthesia drops. And my love for my profession began when I was almost 10. And this song is from the days of my beginning, which pictures what I wanted. The reason I'm showing this is, I'm sure this is a short clip, which... மாலை நியூயார்க்கில் காதலே இரவில் தாயாண்டில் ஜாலி தயிரிலே நமக்கு என்ன வேலி எங்கும் எங்கும் நம் உலகம் உலகம் நமது பாக்கெட்டிலே வாழ்க்கை பறக்கட்டும் ராக்கெட்டிலே இரவு பொழுது நமது பக்கம் விடிய விடிய கொண்டாடுவோம். And the guy with the guitar was Rajinikanth, and the hero was Kamal Hassan. And the song says that you can have coffee in Japan and lunch London, and then evening in New York. And that's what I do 6 times a year. Thanks to Corona, I am in Mumbai. So my inspiration, that I was inspired by the visionary V.G. Panirdas, who believed that if you have a dream, make the dream your prayer and pray every night. And I prayed without realizing the meaning that நான் ஒரு உலக புகழ்பெற்ற கண் மருத்துவராக வர வேண்டும். That means I should become an internationally renowned ophthalmologist, even though my father and my grandfather, even though ophthalmologists, did not travel that time anywhere outside Tamil Nadu except wherever they went. And this is again, this is the current one. I have lost weight, but I think I'm on a healthy diet, healthy mind in a healthy body. And everything is there in the Sanskrit, which I'm telling now, but I think I was doing as a child without knowing. I don't know whatever the reason. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. You become what you think. So I wanted to be an internationally renowned eye doctor, but nothing is automatic. I want to tell everyone who's listening, maybe listening in the future, that world is a manifestation of our inner state. Perceived reality eventually becomes manifested reality. We perceive a thought containing a change or emotion. The process of creation is set in motion. An arrow has been released into ethereal planes or thought sphere. I wanted to make an eye hospital, and I made it in Mumbai. I never thought I will make it in Mumbai, but it happened. So this is what I want to say. For my education, my father paid 232 rupees as a fees, and I'm grateful to my mother, father, Guru Devam that time for their wishes and blessing. And I'm thanks to the Tamil Nadu government and the government of India, the taxpayers' money, I became a doctor. I also became an eye doctor in the same hospital. Then finally, I worked with Dr. Badrinath for years. In present day, you all are at that place. The cost of education differs monumentally from my time. And what has not changed is that it remains a gift only for the fortunate ones who have in them the capability to acquire the skills to help the mankind, to grow constantly and live for the goal they set, believe in your vision. So, my friends, I want you to believe this this is an intermedical sports. I was that time the athletic captain to receive the champion from intermedical sports. I was also the student general secretary of Madras Medical College in 1978-79. I met M.G. Ramchandran as the chief minister and also Kalaignar Karunanidhi. I completed my post-graduation ophthalmology in the University of Madras in 1984, after which I pursued fellowship in vitreoretinal surgery with Dr. Badrinath. And that's the time I want to say that my first sclerotomy, I still remember, was taught by Giridhar. I'm happy he's here to introduce me. So this is what I learned. I was dreaming, dream, believe, create, succeed. And I hope people can take notes. And what post-graduation brought for me, my father's kind gesture of procuring a Jaggi microscope in 1982 when helped me practice microsurgery at home on enucleated eyeballs. And my interest was sparked off after I attended a workshop by Dr. Madan Mohan at Cochin All India Ophthalmic Society Conference in 1983. And so happened, the Cochin Ophthalmic Club has asked me to give the talk. And during my PG, Daljit Singh demonstrated iris IOL implantation surgery, and providentially, and I was permitted to assist him. And then I thought I will become a triple procedure, where, according to Dr. Rashmi, cataract, intraocular lens, and keratoplasty. But anyhow, I landed up in vitreoretinal surgery. As Giridhar said, thanks to Madhivanan, who inspired me to be a vitreoretinal surgeon. And the reason for choosing my field, when I made a choice to enter the eye care field, I was initially drawn to the remarkable features of the eye itself. Not lost in my decision, however, was the realization that ophthalmology has a lot going for it, primarily healthy patients and a nice balance of medical and surgical work. Stepping into the world of VR surgery, the irony of life is that I wanted to be a microsurgeon, as I said, a triple procedure, cataract, IOL, and in 82 it was not heard of. But since this option wasn't available then, I took up vitreoretinal surgery because Dr. Badrinath said, I don't have a microsurgery fellowship, I only have a retina fellowship. And that's how I joined him. And I wrote, still I'm trying to get that letter, I wrote him a joining report in April 1984 that kindly chisel me to become a good retinal surgeon. That means you take a hammer and a chisel and make a statue. And that's why, and diamonds are cut. And we were cut by Dr. Badrinath. And I think every moment is worthwhile, even though we were bleeding. And you can see how Usain Bolt did the training. And here is my teacher. And even now my hair rises. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires. That's what William Arthur said. And Dr. Badrinath is a great inspiration. And Adi Shankaracharya's message, Dr. Badrinath does follow, but he doesn't read that, not by penance, not by visiting holy rivers, and not by reading scriptures, and not by chanting mantras. I chant a lot of mantra, which Dr. Giridhar mentioned, but by only performing selfless service to humanity can one cross the ocean of life. 5 years back, Dr. Badrinath called me and said, now since you're doing so much of charity, Nati, you'll become more famous. I told him, what do I do with becoming famous? He said, you can't help it, Nati. And that is the side effect you're going to face, he said. And I think it's all right. You can see this was on December 11th, the birthday of Mahakavi Bharati in Ettayapuram, where Mahakavi was born, where Dr. Badrinath called me as a chief guest, and he's honoring me. And instead of that, he's telling me to bless him. And that's his greatness. That's Dr. Badrinath in Mumbai. And then a clinical thing, I was a consultant, as Dr. Giridhar said, in Shankar Nethralaya, gaining experience. And in 19, I was glad I was a faculty in 1986 with the scleral buckling workshop. Amazing. I think that note still, I have it, and I still do scleral buckling surgery. So I call it the fine art of scleral buckling. And in 1986, December, Dr. Raja Jovanovich visited. And that's the greatness of Dr. Badrinath. Yeah, and he introduced me and Dr. Gopal and told, you take Dr. Jovanovich and his wife, take him to Mahabalipuram, spend time, spend hours together, do what you want with him. And it was great. I think that was an eye-opener. And because of, from 1986, he became my second mentor. I started communicating with him. I was close to him. I spent probably months or almost a year in the collective, not in a stretch. Then because of that, I stayed with Class A Cut. And this is a great thing where Class A Cut also was learning like me, going to Jovanovich. And Class A Cut and me used to go and listen. And we were the first to attend the first vitreoretinal, the PFCL meeting held at Marburg, which is in Philipps University, where Dr. Stanley Chang explained how to use PFCL, and I got PFCL from Stanley Chang, and then we are not Stanley Chang in Germany, and then used it in India first time. So as Dr. Giridhar put it, I introduced the biome in 90 when everybody in the world was against it, including Mark Spitzness, the man who invented in 87 and published, his fellow Dr. Frank Koch. Somehow, I don't know why they didn't take it up in the beginning. Now Frank Koch uses it, but I was popularizing it. I used to go to US and teach them. And Dr. D. Juan came in 95 and said, oh God, come on, man, who is going to use the wide angle? It's cumbersome, this, that. But can you believe in 96, he demonstrated live surgery in Vitreous Surgery meeting, Vitreous Society meeting, which was transmitted from Johns Hopkins to Italy that time. And I also was a faculty with the Yakio Yamanaka, Kenji Oshima, and Dr. Anatomy, where Dr. Yamanaka used to do the surgery and ask me whether I've done the surgery properly, because Dr. Badrinath told he knows more than you. And then when I went with Yamanaka to the All India Institute, that time he was there, Dr. Tiwari, and I used to ask, how can you talk to him like that? Because I said, no, the experience talks. And that's here. Dr. Jovanovic came, changed in the OT, and he used to be in my OT from morning 8 to night 11. As Dr. Giridhar said, I was operating almost till 1 o'clock. And I think he made me more popular in Europe and US. He always used to tell, if you want to learn surgery, go to Natarajan. He's like looks like a resident, but he's a great surgeon. So the constant inspiration is Swami Vivekananda. Stand up, be bold, be strong, take the whole responsibility on your own shoulder, and know that you are the creator of your own destiny and the business. And that's how I joined the Tapare Institute, which Dr. And I did 1,500 vitreoretinal surgery from October 88 till July 90. And then I started the Aditya Jyoth Hospital, and then I wanted to see the change. So Gandhiji said, you must be the change you used to see in the world. And I learned a thing or two about myself while I was growing up. As a child, when your mother tells you, don't touch that thing, what do? You go and touch it. And that defines my philosophy. Somebody says, you cannot do it or you don't do it, I will do it. So whoever challenges me, so somebody has challenged me, can you get a Nobel Prize? I'm glad, even though Dr. Gopal Pillai has explained to Dr. Azad in one of our groups, saying that it's symbolically given the topic, but I wish it will come true, because Nobel Prize is not for me. Nobel Prize is going to be for the people. The vision dawned on 15 July 90 at my own Aditya Jyothi Hospital, and you can see Dr. Badrinath talking there. And this again, he has come several times, and for a want of time, this is Dr. Badrinath's talk. I'm just skipping, I'm just showing. And this is Dr. Shil Kumar Shinde. And then he inaugurated from the flats. I went to a building, and then we also have 15 subdivisions of all things, which now it's a history we have created. So bring yourself out of the shell that confines you today. Be bold, be courageous to redefine your path, but be respectful to the seniors, to the people who have contributed to science. Don't waste time calculating your chances of success and failure. Just fix your aim and begin. John Zhu said that. And Swami Sukhabodhana, the great friend, as famously said by Bruce Lee, knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. So philanthropic aspects of ophthalmology, you wanted to do. I made Aishwarya distribute glasses, do camps, and her birthday is November 1st, and every November 1st I do something, and several times she has visited me, and that's a great thing. And you can see Dr. Tiwari is sitting here, who's next to him. So this was 2004, where Giridhar was there for both 1990 and 2004. And this is a great thing. Dr. Abdul Kalam was a great friend. He has called me many times when he was the president. He gave the name Aditya Jyoth Foundation for Twinkling Little Lights, which we have done. So I've touched several million people thanks to Dr. Kalam. Even every day I visit. And this is a visit.
Friends,
he came and addressed Aditya Jyoth. And this is Selina Jetli. And then research. This is where you can see my best friend, Shivanandan, the chairman, the managing director of Allergan, and also Vasudev Ginde. We have a state-of-the-art genetic lab, which was in Thane, now shifted to Chonambati. Now we also, our hospital has got in my father's name, a genetic clinic. And we also go on global for ocular genetic research studies and intervention. This is my global connections in which is National Eye Institute with the staff and the leadership. So as mentioned, for Retina Hall of Fame, I was myself and Dr. Badrinath are the only two people who are in the Hall of Fame. And Albert Einstein said, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. My friends, please remember what Einstein said. And I believe in actually 7 P's, but the 5 P's: perseverance, perfection, patience, prayer, precision. And the positive thinking is what everybody talked about. I hope, and this is what my friend Ronaldo is here. He always said, "You're the most well-dressed ophthalmology," and that gives me boost. Right from the college days, I wear smiling and standing up tall up emphasizes positive thoughts you have. It will reduce stress and improve self-esteem. And the problems of life are not really out there; they're all in here, and everything is decided in and by the mind. And everybody knows this. I'm a founder, Retinal Society of India member and president. And training, I want to talk about mirror neurons, skill transfer, practice, wet lab, simulator. Mirror neurons, I will suggest you to read this Robert Greene. And as Giridhar said, you read a lot. And the potential for mastery lies within each of us. Learn the secrets of the path you must follow. Unlock the passion within you and become a master. And for that, you need a master like Dr. Badrinath, who took a cane, hit people like me and Giridhar, and we are whatever gems in the society. And I think we want to make gems. That's why I take this opportunity to publicly apologize to all my fellows, because I have probably chiseled them. What separates masters from others? When learning a new skill, there comes a point of frustration where we quit on ourselves before we actually give up. Learning and mastering a skill requires practice and therefore time. As humans, we tend to shrink away from anything that seems painful or overly difficult. And I'm just going through the mastery book, which I want to say that I read a lot. And I have also given an interview in Young Ophthalmic Society of India, which is about 10 pages. Same thing I've done with many magazines. So this is again my contribution to Kashmir. I want to say, when there was a call from a young ophthalmologist, just overnight, the day before, I spoke to Dr. Mr. Shivanandan, and then I did that. And the other one, leadership, is Jyot Se Jyot Jalao, the stop blindness program. And this is about Kashmir, where I went and did the talk. The city was like this, haunted, but I had nothing. There's no fear for me. If somebody comes with the AK-47, I can do my meditation and make sure they can. That's what they famously call me. But unfortunately, I write myself NUTTY because I like peanuts. And I followed my dream of being only the best and nothing lesser. So my dear friends, go ahead and live your dreams. Be positive, think big, dream big. You'll achieve your goals. And this is the Retina Hall of Fame, which I mentioned, from 1851 Warm Helmholtz to now 2016. We cannot apply. And this was a charter member, Warm Helmholtz, Jules Gonen, Alvar Gersten, the only ophthalmologist who got Stargardt's, Ernst Custodis, Charles Keepens, Harvey Linkoff, Relja Jovanovic, Robert McNamara, Golem Payman, John Scott, Jerry Shields, Lawrence Zanuzzi, Stephen Ryan, Steve Charles, Stanley Chang. And I'm glad to be with them, but I'm still not happy because I want to use this, take up one idea, make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea, let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. And this is the way to success. This is what I did for every citizen. This is an eye checkup. I want every ophthalmologist to use this, do the screening, and we can touch millions of people by doing DR screening. I'm glad that Dr. Giridhar is doing a great thing. And this is the where we use the bike and do the screening. And this is what we did, a Guinness record. And we use the offline AI in a smartphone. We got a publication in this JAMA. So, which I'm just giving, and AI is the way forward, and we cannot allow AI to dominate us. So, we will both virtually and biologically merge together. And it was a fiction in the robot movie by Rajinikanth. But you can see Sundar Pichai working, but I'm glad to say we are ahead of Google. And we also did in Kumbh Mela, this is 2 years back. Anybody can screen diabetic retinopathy. We also made a public initiative movie, again introduced in Cochin during the International Advertising Conference. We have got an All India Ophthalmic Task Force. And this I met the Verily because I want Google Sundar Pichai to give money. You may be in awe of what a journey it must be, but there is so much more I want to do. That means gene therapy, stem cell therapy, artificial retinal implant. It is now a history. I hope with my friend Gisbert Richard, I'll do something. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It can only transform. Om Namah Shivaya. Positive yields positive. So what all I have sent in the universe, it is from that positivity that I harness and transform myself into better thinker, researcher, and healer, defying my age, truly exemplifying that age is just a number. And this is my friend, and he has given a thing, and he has started the Roti Bank. So I am glad I go daily. You can see the former CBI Director Karthikeyan, also Mr. Raghavan, and he himself and myself go and serve people outside. So smiling and standing tall up emphasizes positive thoughts you have. It will reduce stress and take up one idea. And this is what is the power of concentration. So coming back to the last slides, that Nobel Prize, 5 original Nobel Prize were given, first given in 1901 in the field of physics, chemistry, physiology or medicine, peace and literature. Later economics was added. Nobel Prize is the world's foremost honor for scientific advances in medicine and other areas. And Nobel Prize was founded by Alfred Nobel and have been awarded annually since 1901. And it's only 121 years old and 20 years old. And my grandfather was born in 1900. The topics were divided into vision physiology, diagnostic and therapeutic methods, disease mechanism, and miscellaneous. Alvar Granstrand till today is the only clinical ophthalmologist to win a Nobel Prize. He's the only one to receive it for work in ophthalmology. And when and other ophthalmologists have been nominated are Hjalmar Schertz, Karl Koller, and Jules Gonin. And unfortunately, none of them got it. And Alvar Granstrand also was elected as a member of the Royal Swedish Academy of Science. What a great, brilliant brain. He prevented Albert Einstein from getting the Nobel Prize for the theory of relativity. He questioned the theory of creativity, and that's what Einstein probably was angry with Alvar Granstrand. But in 1921, he was nominated, but he got it in 1922 for the paper he published in 1905. Creativity exists as one of the most important human resources. It permits us to look past what exists and discover new ways of thinking. Oftentimes, the limit of knowledge is nothing more than our collective inability to observe the world and ideas in the new way. Albert Einstein, for example, needed to see beyond the Newtonian understanding of the universe to rewrite the concepts of physics. Nobel laureates frequently display enormous amounts of creativity and open-mindedness. So persistence, years of dedication, frustration, and even failure usually predate success. Only those with enormous amounts of persistence can work past these obstacles. From Daniel Kahneman to Malala Yousafzai, Nobel laureates persist when others give up. And willingness to collaborate, multidisciplinary expertise, and then leadership quality. I love Martin Luther King. The recipient needs to have vision in order to drive their project forward for the right reasons. The Nobel laureate needs to be able to envision not only how the world will benefit from their project for years to come. And that is why I want to find something where the world will benefit, whether I get it or not a problem. And finally, this is a book given by Dr. Abdul Kalam to me, Medicine and Compassion, written by Choki Nyingma Rinpoche, the first Dalai Lama, with Dr. David Schlimm. So I read this book again and again. I'm writing a book called Compassion at I Care by Me. And finally, you have to serve others. If you are working only for yourself, you are equal to a dead. They alone live who live for others. Rest are equivalent to a dead corpse walking. So thanks to my grandfather, my father, and where we together have done 150 years of service to the nation. Salute my school, the Elliott School of Ophthalmology, the first museum in India, in the world. It started in 1919, and the same time when the swine flu was there, and we are in the year of Corona, and then this building is still standing tall, and this is a 200 years old eye hospital, which is the second in the world, first in the Asia, and even we are ahead of China. So with 200 glorious years of modern Indian ophthalmology, with Shushruta doing the first surgery, I hope we will have we can do wonders. And whatever I get is a total dedication to India. And I take this opportunity for allowing me to talk. And I know I was rushing, but I hope whatever Gopal Pillai asked me to do, I did so.
Thank you so much, sir. That was wonderful as always. Whenever I listen to you talk, there is so much of positivity and keeps your mind thinking again and again. Are we doing enough? And how much more should we do? That sort of thoughts come to your mind, to our mind when we hear you talk. So the floor is open for some questions to be asked, some suggestions, some of his insights into some of the pet projects that sir is doing. So I will start off by asking you, sir, about the Roti Bank, because that has been, I think, a very great initiative, and that has really touched the lives of so many people. So what was the inspiration behind that, and how does it run? Where does the finances come from? Where is the food made? That sort of things I'm eager to know.
So the main thing is the inspiration is everything is done by Shivanandan. And today there is a new live news in some TV news. Pollachikarar has done it. So he learned it from a Coimbatore guy. I forgot his name, Padmanabhan, I think. He said, and also that Akshay Patra and also the Udavum Karangal in Madras. But they are doing now and then, I think, in festival time or something like that. Then he realized that what you call treating, I would say use the word treating the underworld and controlling the underworld like Natarajan and Dawood Ibrahim. He found hunger produced crime. How? A small boy steals, the new movie called Master, where Vijay has acted. He steals a bun, and then later he says, okay, I can steal a bun, then I can steal biscuit. Then somebody observes, takes that boy and makes him sell ganja and drugs. And that's how they go to the juvenile thing. And juvenile crime starts, and then they become a big people, and then they become an organized crime. So he always gives a leadership talk, how these people who are not educated, who are not having Harvard education in management, but they have that Harvard brain to do organized crime. So that's how he says, why not you do something to prevent hunger? And his inspiration was Mahakavi Bharati. ஒருவனுக்கு பசி என்றால் அவனுக்கு சாப்பாடு கொடுக்க வேண்டும் என்றால் ஜகத்தியே அழுத்திடுவோம். Then he says, destroy the universe, he's saying, if somebody is hungry. But it's very sad. And even though I have a hair raising phenomenon, I go often, even during COVID, I wear the, the PPE and go and serve. People are hungry. And it's really sad. And I think 100% of the, I only sign checks as a trustee. 100% of the work and the idea and day-to-day, everything is done by Shivanandan. And he's got a master stroke. His daughter and his son-in-law, plus about 40 students joined him and made a network. And he had used his, the management philosophy. He called for a brainstorming session in his office in India Bulls, which is one of the biggest expensive office area. And he listened to all the young brains. And whoever did not were active, he asked them to resign and go as trustees. And he brought in, we are 3 of us trustee now, where he's very progressive. He's got monthly newsletter. And the idea is, he has already collected 6 crores during the COVID last year in April. And I was shocked because 6 crores, we are spending 25 rupees a meal, 10,000 meal a day we are giving. So at this rate, we can give next 2 years, 3 years, I think. During the migration, we gave 37,500 a day. He created 4 temporary kitchens. Now we have 1 kitchen. What he did is another master plan where he contacted this I forgot the name of the construction company which makes the bridges in Bombay and all over. And they have given him a construction area, a kitchen, which now yesterday only he told me, he has went and given a young IAS officer who is a municipal commissioner in New Bombay, asking for a permanent space for kitchen. So we have 5 cooks, 1 chief cook, and another 5 people in the kitchen to make. So he's got a roti making machine, which is makes 2,000 chapatis an hour. So in 4,000 chapatis he could make. Before the machine, when the schools were running, he get a brilliant idea with young school kids, where one of the school kids gave a suggestion that why not we bring 2 chapatis each student. So 1,000 students brought 2 chapatis. So they had a big container. They put all the 2 chapatis. So by 12 o'clock, they had 2,000 chapatis from 1 school. So they collected all chapatis and distributed. And then he also collected from waste from all 5-star and Hinduja Hospital, because where all friends were there. Then later they realized they were cooking. If they want for 500 people, they were cooking for 1,500 people or 1,000 people, and 500 food were wasted. 5 stars cannot give because the international policy says waste food should be thrown. And they cannot give it to any this thing, because any food poisoning happens a problem. So he also went to a college anchor run by that anchor group, where they made some biochemical test where they put that, it will know if the food poisoning can happen or not. Then he made Mr. Boma Narani as one of the ambassadors. Now Amitabh Bachchan, Jacqueline Fernandez, Vidya Balan. So all of them are voluntary. He has not asked anybody. And that is the greatness of him. And I think Giridhar knows. And I don't want to tell the name. We approached Swamiji for giving a talk in Cochin. And he asked 5 lakhs. And then he asked for a business class ticket. And me and Giridhar were shocked. So we went to Shivanandan. He said, I will give you free. But anyhow, I think the inspiration is like even Swami Vivekananda said, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa told Vivekananda, You cannot teach spirituality and God to a poor man when he's hungry. So first learn to feed. So in 1898, famine and cholera, people were dying. And Swami Vivekananda wanted to sell that donated land of Belur Mutt, and give it to the poor. So Ramakrishna came in the dream and said, no, Belur Mutt will do international service. You wait, it will happen. Then he realized every poor person has to be fed. So that's why a lot of ashrams or Vivekananda followers, Ramakrishna Mutt, like Shivanandan, everybody is doing Annadan. So this Chitra Paurnami, I myself read about it in the net, about Chitragupta coming and washing your sins and all. But the only thing impressed me is during the Chitra Paurnami in Madurai, the moon was the brightest moon. So we can see people without light in this one. We can see the brightest moon on that day. So you don't need street lights. I'm talking about hundreds of years back when Rajaraja Chola started giving food during the Chitra Paurnami. So I think our dhan is there in all over. And I think it happens in Langar and all the Gurudwaras. So, and I recently saw a Gurudwara in Delhi, I think. I forgot the name now. They are having, I think they are giving more than 25,000-30,000 a day. So amazing. I mean, in spite of that, India, we need so much. And I am not, to tell you frankly, I don't know how to tell this to Shivanandan. I don't know whether he's seeing this YouTube or he will see. I don't know whether answer is by daily giving them food. I don't know. Because outside cancer hospital, outside KEM hospital, I understand. Because they sell their property and come and treat the relative, and they are staying in the streets. But what about other areas, school children, or where they can do something? Why they can't? And education is still free. They all can, like Abdul Kalam, can study in an ordinary school in Rameshwaram, then study in MIT, Krompet, Chennai, and then become a ISRO chief. Why not everybody do study? And I think Kerala has done the highest education literacy. I hope there is not much of hunger, because everybody can work and earn. So I think somehow I want to add this word of work and earn. And I don't know how to convey that, but I don't have the guts to tell Shivanandan. He wants to do it for long. And he's told me also, I'm going to write in the will, in case I die before him, like he dies before me, I have to continue it, or his daughter may not continue. So but his daughter is working even today. So I'm glad. I can't believe he's already planning all that. We people plan for property and this, but he's planning who will do it after him. And we now and then have the same meal what the poor people have. Me and him have it in the kitchen before we distribute, just to say that we enjoy it. And it's really excellent, not for the sake of sacrifice. It's an excellent, tasty, nice, delicious, and aroma is amazing. I love it.
That's great, sir. Great hearing about that. I just wanted to ask you about, your start of your journey itself. Like, you had been in Chennai or in Tamil Nadu for your, the early part of your life till you became an ophthalmologist, and till you almost became a seasoned ophthalmologist. Then you left the whole thing and came to Mumbai. What exactly was your feeling at that point of time? And because you said that you wanted to become international, you wanted to start hospital. So then why did you shift to Mumbai and come there from your area where you were?
So I think I will compare with this guy, Bill Gates, as well as our Steve Jobs. The thing is, opportunity strikes on your face and nobody knows it. That's the biggest part. And you should see the Al Pacino Sunday speech. All this I'm doing after doing it. And I'm only giving retrospective idea for the young people who are seeing this. What I'm saying, Al Pacino in his 4-minute Sunday speech, you should see that. I think Sai has seen it. Giridhar has seen it in my LDP. I always show. I know it's boring for others, but for me, it gives me inspiration. What Al Pacino's speech says is a losing football team. He says that the opportunity is 6 inches in front of you, 6 inches in the side of you, but 1 inch more, 1 inch less, you lose the game. That means soccer. So vitreoretinal surgery is like soccer. And that's what I read in Surgical Self-Education by Steve Charles, which was a gospel truth for us in Shankar Nethralaya. And then I decided to meet Steve Charles, and I met him in 88. So as you rightly asked, I always thought I will start an eye hospital in Madras, because I saw Dr. Babu Rajendran, originally from Kerala, studied in Madras, then in Karnataka, and then settled in Can you believe he also started his career like me in Shankanetralaya as a consultant for 1 year, 76 to 77. Because, sorry, not 78 to 79. Because 76, Arvinda Hospital started. 78, Shankanetralaya started. And he told me this, SN means Shankanetralaya. I said, no, SN means S. Natarajan. Giridhar knows. So what I'm trying to tell is, so I thought when I was in my MBBS, my father had a clinic. No, father didn't have a clinic. He was all the time playing tennis. I made him start a clinic. I used to tell him, if you start something we do, if I want to join you, I want to become like Dr. Babu Rendran and have a niche called the Eye Research Foundation, like the practice in Vijay Hospital. Where I have seen Dr. Badrinath as a kid practicing in the Vijay Hospital, then in a HM Hospital. So the dream was there. I wanted an eye hospital, but I didn't realize I became a consultant in Shankanetralaya. That means opportunity was coming. I took it up. I didn't leave after Shankanetralaya because I was supposed to join MS, but Dr. Badrinath said, either you choose to continue as a consultant in Shankanetralaya or go and do MS. So I told him, why not I do MS in the morning and come back and do consultant? You're working till 10 in the night. He said, no, you have to choose. I said, all right. So because I choose this, he actually celebrated. He knew that was the greatest thing. From morning 7 till night 1, he told me the life will be under tube lights. And that was great. And then the opportunity came when in 88, I attended the All India Conference in Bombay Hospital in January 88. And that time Steve Charles came. That's how I went to Bombay Hospital, All India. And so happened that time we had 8 papers sent on vitreoretinal surgery. Nobody had endolaser in India. We sent a paper and it was rejected. And Dr. Nakpal was a scientific chair and Dr. Badrinath was very angry. So he said, I'm not going to attend All India from this year. Nati, if you want to attend, you attend. So I got the best video prize on my intraocular foreign body. And then the Bombay Hospital consultants asked me, can you join here? We will pay you 30,000. That time my salary was only 4,000. I said, oh, you cannot buy me. I will not come. And I went away. Then in a few months later, Dr. Gallot, who was in All India Institute, and Dr. R.K. Kapoor came. 3 days they stayed with me. They saw me operating and said, you have to come. They said, whatever you want, we'll give. I said, okay, I want a house. I want this. They gave everything, but on loan, not on free. 5% loan they gave. But I took it. Then, so the opportunity came. I didn't think. I still remember, I hope Giridhar remembers, I spoke to Madhivanan. I said, I'm going to Bombay. He said, how will you manage, man? You don't know Hindi, you don't know Marathi, you don't know Gujarati, you don't know anything. What will you do? I said, I know vitreoretinal surgery. No, I'll do. So then when I went, Dr. Badrinath also told, they're all big fishes and whales. They will swallow you. And I'm sure you will not give cut. I'm telling openly, it's recorded. And what will you do? If you don't give cut, nobody will refer patient. I said, no problem. I will come back to Madras and I work. And it happened. October, I went there. They gave me a table and chair, like this video call, what do you call a Zoom call. I said, how do I do vitreoretinal surgery with Zoom? So I said, okay. And I went back to Madras. I became a consultant again for a month, operated. The day Aditya was born, November 20, I came. So the opportunity keeps striking. I thought vitreoretinal surgery, we cannot do private. So I joined Bombay Hospital, and one by one, the instruments started breaking. Then I had to use Appasamy light pipe, Appasamy standby machine. I said, what is the big name Bombay Hospital and very stupid, everything I had to buy from my pocket. And whatever lecture I give, that I had to put Bombay Hospital, and Bombay Hospital was getting credit. I said, this is nonsense. And so happened, I skipped the slide. One Bank of India chairman told, I will give you the loan. Do you have the guts to start? I said, who will give me loan? I don't have property. I don't have money. He said, do you have guts? I will ask the technical team to come to you. We will give you a loan. So then finally they gave me, took my father-in-law's property as a thing. They gave me loan, but I returned it. I returned the loan. I had an income tax rate. I had a Dawood Ibrahim call. So what? And nothing happened. I think I'm still alive. I went to met AK-47 in this one in Kashmir. And I went to LTTE. I went to ULFA in 91. And that time my friend, I think Giridhar knows, Jayanta was our fellow. When Jayanta, whatever his name, Jayanta, he's now gone to US and became a psychiatrist. He was taken blindfolded by ULFA. And I told him, he was telling me, if you want, I'll take you also. I said, okay, I'll come. 1 month I'll be ophthalmologist for the ULFA. And they're here in Gadchiroli. And I think wherever there were bombs, I've gone. Nothing has happened. I'm alive. So
Sir,
opportunity
it is very interesting.
no, opportunity strike. I think you should not calculate all the time, and you can make mistake. And fortunately, I don't remember what is the mistake, but I think I was in a lot of problem. And the income tax raid happened at the 4th year of my practice, which I thought nobody. I have so much of loan, and I never thought the income tax will come. They came, and when they were raiding, I slept off. They were telling, "How can you sleep?" I said, "What is the problem? I don't know anything. My wife only did everything I told." And that's why she was raided. I was sleeping in the chair, and whole night they took me and they told me, after raiding you'll be more famous. I said, what is the use, man? You are I didn't know you're a nice doctor. He told me. I said, after raping a nice beautiful girl, you're telling me you're a beautiful girl. I said, what is the use, man? So I think problems will come, hurdles will come, and even the same Bombay Hospital chairman will also ask me which bank you took loan. I purposefully didn't tell. Then I realized he wanted to stop the loan. Can you believe? And it happened.
Those are difficult things, sir.
Chairman of Bombay Hospital, Mr. Jain, came and he came and the question answer is going on, Shubha. So I don't know why. I think my secretary is thinking I'm talking too much. So she's telling me stop talking. Okay. So no. So the chairman was SP Jain, and he was at that time also 77 years old. He told me, "Beta, tumhara whatever in Hindi." He told me, "You are only 29 years old. I am 77 years old. I am 2.5 times your age. You listen to me. Don't leave Bombay Hospital." I said, "Sir, you have grandfather experience. You are running Times of India. You are running Bombay Hospital, but I don't want to work with Bombay Hospital." So he said, "What will you do?" He told me, "It is like jumping from the 14th floor." I said, "God will keep a net in the first floor. A net will take me. I'll get down and walk and come." And that's what Rajinikanth did. So Tamil
Rajinikanth.
And in 2000, the Shiv Sena was attacking the Tamil people. Arvinda Hospital, Dr. Venkateswamy called me. Dr. Srinivasan called, "Hey, how are you, man? Be careful." I said, "What is that? Be careful." In front of my house is Bal Thackeray's house. Behind my house was Shiv Sena Bhavan. I said, "All are my friends." So what I did, the cardiac surgeon of Bal Thackeray was my friend, Nitu Manke. Same thing with Sharad Pawar. Same thing with Sonia Gandhi. So no problem. So nobody can touch me.
Sir, so which is the most desperate moment in your life? And I see there's no dearth of energy, no dearth of positivity. So in that most blackest hour of your life, how would you bounce back and come back to positivity?
Yeah. See, I think everybody will have this up and down. And the main thing is, Dr. Kalam told me that every wave, he likes the wave not because it rises, but after every fall it rises. And that is how I knew all that I learned later. But I think I've been struck by so many tragedies in life, so many. And I think my mother was telling, that my grandmother was telling that because I was born dark, my mother didn't see me for 2 days. And my mother put that earring and put that what you call rendu jada and used to cry, "Ayo, if you are a girl, who will give a boy?" And I said, "I'm a boy, no, why you worry about girl?" So like that, my mother was crying. And then I was a crying child. Thanks to my father, he made me so bold and to face people. And I remember still somebody told, "Arey, this is like, this guy is like a charcoal." And he told Dr. Badrinath. And Dr. Badrinath, you know what he told? "Oh, no, he's handsome. If he was a girl, I would have married him." So, I mean, it was putting me down everywhere. And if you have seen Barack Obama and Rajinikanth, because of this color discrimination, they took drugs. And that openly is written in the book. I didn't take drug at all. No drug, no alcohol, no cigarette, and teetotaler. Not Swamiji, but teetotaler. So I think whenever I'm down, I also cry. In between, now I don't cry now. But now I tell every patient, whoever cries is a fraud. Because if you have 100% faith with God, you cannot cry. If you cry, you're insulting God. This is my philosophy, which I started as Giridhar said, I used to go to in the child because my mother will beat me. Then in the high school and the college for sightseeing. Then when I became a consultant, I remember so that the patient will do well, retina will get attached. And less I realized it's only karma. You do the surgery properly, you do the drainage properly, you avoid complications, the retina will be all right. Sometimes Dr. Badrinath will ask, "What is the pressure after your surgery?" You'll ask. We wouldn't have checked. Anyway, till whole night you can't do anything. And one day when I was operating, he came and asked me, "Nati, are you operating the right eye?" He asked me. So I didn't understand. I understood the question. Are you operating the correct eye? No, sir, I'm operating the left eye, I told him. And the patient also was hearing. I said, I was wondering whether I'm really operating the eye needs to be pathology, because that's why I learned from Dr. Badrinath, check, cross-check, counter-check, and recheck. You're obsessive, but it's all right. So I have that OCD, which is why my fellows suffer, because I want so many things at a time. And I think whenever you're down, and I think anybody will happen, but I remember I questioned myself. And I'm telling a patient, if you cry, you're a fraud, then what happened to my faith? So whenever I have a depression, that means I'm away from God. If I have 100% faith, the worry should be, or depression should be 0. And then you also have fear, should be 0. But if you have even 1%, you're a fraud. Whether it is 1% or 99%. So I ask the patient, 100% faith and 80% worry, how much is the meaning? He said 100 minus 80 is 20. I said, no, 100 minus 80 is 0 is equal to fraud. So I tell that same formula. So now my time is maybe fraction of a second when I'm depressed to get back. But after telling all this, after my grandmother's death, I was very depressed for long. I went in depression. My friends took me to psychiatrists, psychologists, and psychotherapists. But finally, with my spirituality, with my Vivekananda Rock Memorial Meditation, then Ramakrishna Mutt, I am now a Swami Vivekananda in suit.
Dr. Arun, Dr. Giridhar, Dr. Sai, any question to ask Dr. Natarajan?
You are muted, Dr. Arun.
So what is your message for budding ophthalmologists? How they can, how they can face the challenges, and what would be advice?
See, one is if you are seeing that the old saying, somebody is seeing the half glass full, like somebody is saying half glass empty. So I think the main thing is how to be happy with whatever you get, whatever you have. So the main thing is, I think, as Giridhar said, I was not a born happy child. I think I had a whooping cough. Then I think I didn't speak for 2.5 years. Now you have to tell me to stop talking. So all that has become acquired. And I think nothing, and my father had an introvert. I used to remember my father, that Chandramayana's uncle was my father's teacher. He used to tell me in 1965, "Arey, your father is not opening his mouth in the MS exam, man. How can I give him pass?" Can you believe? He's telling a 8-year-old, 10-year-old boy or 8-year-old boy, your father is failing MS because it's not his intention. So then my father made me All India Radio program. What I want to tell is, be outspoken. And Dr. Badrinath taught us that in an American way of education, you can question the teacher. But I see when I allow that, the student wants to test your knowledge. They don't want to really ask a doubt. They want to test, this Natarajan talks so much, let us ask some question from some journal. So I tell them point blank, now what they can do? They cannot irritate me more. I said, I don't know, man. You tell me. But I still remember, I don't remember the name of that journal, Current Retina Research something. In 87, I'm telling, I was sitting with Dr. Badrinath. I said, sir, what is this? There are the articles on rod, cone, this, that, and all. When I'm going to read all this, he said, that is what is the research, Nati. So much to learn, so much to know. And his energy was like that. He used to take class for optometry on optics. After finishing surgery at 9 o'clock in the night, he will prepare. So I used to tell him, you're going to take class for optometrist, that to students. Why are you preparing? No. I think I have to teach them. And he used to make me take class. And he used to make Gopal take class. I used to hate it. What is the use of wasting time? But then I realized, no, whatever you do, Swami Vivekananda has written that. Whatever you do, you should learn to concentrate and do it perfectly. And you have to do it as though nobody is seeing. So the advice to youngsters is, everybody is not born rich. And according to me, if you are born in a mediocre family like me and Dr. Giridhar, and there is a stay hungry, stay foolish is there. You should not be uneducated like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. You have to be educated. And that's why I salute Kerala. So I think everybody will have problem. Everybody will have hurdles. You may not get a bank loan. Somebody will cheat you. It happened to me, Bombay Hospital. Somebody told Dr. Badrinath wants money, and I gave. That time I was earning only 20,000-30,000. Somebody took some 2,000 rupees from me in the tent. I don't have ticket for this. I called Dr. Badrinath. He says, no, I don't know anybody like that. That's all, money gone. So what I'm saying, people will cheat you. So that Muthu movie, Rajinikanth says, people who cheat are not the criminals. The people who get cheated are criminals. So that's the lesson. So if you are getting cheated, you are blame yourself. So Gandhiji said, when you point out one finger, 3 fingers are pointing at yourself. So find out when you, now I find out when I'm scolding a fellow, I find out what is okay, what is that. Now I'm undergoing a training called life coaching. That I used to tell, sir, I'm perfectionist. So that Shukera told me, Arey, here is a man who calls himself a perfect. That means he is mad, he told. He's insane. And I really got insulted because all the 100 CEOs or 200 CEOs were there, and he said, I'm insane. Then he asked me, what is the meaning of perfection? I said, I'm perfectly dressing. My secretary Joseph was there. He's retired now. I said, he's absolutely not perfect. He laughed and said, there's nothing like perfection. If you are perfect, you're God. So you cannot play God. He says, you do only continuous improvement. So whatever in the young, see, every ophthalmologist cannot start a hospital like Giridhara Institute or Aditya Jyot or Amrita. Correct? Person has to be like Sai, work with Giridhar. Somebody, my consultants have worked with me. And I also worked as this is one thing. When I worked with Dr. Badrinath, I worked as my own hospital. And I still remember that night, 1 o'clock, Dr. Badrinath and me will go for a movie. And he will tell Nati, come, we'll go and check Shankar Nethralaya. And one day that watchman was sleeping, that's all. He was thrown out of job at night, 1 o'clock only. He's saying, how can you sleep in the duty? So he used to go and tell me, go and check all the light, AC is on or not, and come and tell me who has put the AC on. So that he wants to fire that doctor next morning. So I said, no, sir, everybody's out. I used to tell her, like, what to do? He will sit in the ambassador car and go and tell, bring in. So I think what I've learned is that, and Dr. Badrinath was made my life miserable. So many times he cried. You feel, why the hell you are working? And then I gone and talked to that Sarojini sister who was there, Sister Lakshmi, who's now in Kerala. Like, we all went going depressed. Now, luckily, I'm an I motivate, but I also have, I need a guru. So that's why now I don't see any guru, and a lot of gurus who are available are all superficial. So now I've gone to a life coach. I'm doing 1 month, I'm going to do now, I don't know, 45 days, daily 1 hour. So somebody asked me, how do you find time? J.R.D. Tata says, most busy man does most of the things most of the time. And Dr. Natarajan says, lazy people don't find time for anything. So even today, Mr. Shivanandan is regimental. He is 6:45 is my drill master. We have to do weightlifting. And that's what I put and then all that walking. Tomorrow morning, he has summoned me. 6:15 I have to reach. Even for walking, I have to be disciplined. 6:14 I have to be there. So if I go at 6:15, it's tension for me. Then now I decided, I require tension. So I better reach at 6:10 only. Why go? So I think all young people have to learn to be disciplined. You have to, if you are not nobody to discipline you, you discipline yourself. And the second is, if you don't get a bank loan, find another way. There will be some other way. And you keep dreaming and don't doubt your dream. And once you start driving, see, I remember when I wanted Aishwarya Rai to come as a guest, nobody believed me. And I also did not. 3 days before that, she called me. And then I got all the contacts. She came. And somebody asked me, will Aishwarya come? I still remember. Even Chief Minister sitting next to me asked me, don't worry, sir, she'll come. Well, I've told her she'll come. She came. My same son and daughter went to the river, spent time. And she came and spent 4 hours with me. So I think my first question they'll ask is, will Aishwarya come? So that question, will Aishwarya come, is a negative. So once a negative sets in, you'll have negative. So law of attraction, whatever you want, it will happen. So first question is, I want to be president of India. Can I? Yes, I will. Now, before that, I'll become president of the International Council of Ophthalmology, like Giridhar was asking. So I think whatever I wanted, I did. So once upon a time, I wanted 50 hospitals, but I think I didn't have that dream properly. Now I decided 50 hospitals. Shivanandan and my Sushil Livaraj asked me, why do you want to do 50? I said, I want 50 Qualitie hospitals so that 50 Natarajan can be there. Then I realized, as a doctor, to have one more doctor is not possible. Whatever you do, I cannot become Dr. Badrinath, neither Steve Charles or something. And same thing, whatever Natarajan is, I cannot make another Natarajan. But somebody can excel me. And that's what Retina Hall of Fame, if you go to the website, it says, Sir Isaac Newton has copied that Sir Charteris in 12th century. And Isaac Newton in 16th century has told that we should stand on the tall people like us. For example, Gopal is standing on my shoulder, and on Gopal's shoulder, all the students. Now his student is got married today. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Aishwarya. Married also. Maybe gone to honeymoon also.
Yeah.
So I think opportunity strikes, use it. And the second is hurdles will come. Everybody has faced hurdle, including Dr. Badrinath, including Dr. Venkatsamy, Dr. Gullapalli Rao. Dr. Gullapalli Rao openly told the same conference where I was motivated to come to Bombay in 1988. Same conference, Dr. Gullapalli Rao was demotivated. He was calling friends in bad words because I was there with him. So I think what I'm saying, everybody faced problem. That's the Indian crab. One crab climbs up, 9 crabs would pull you down. No one. So now you've broken the glass ceiling. Nobody can touch me. So that should not get into your head. So you should every day bow down. I do Shastang Namaskar daily to God. Just to say, I was doing with Achi. I used to tell her, just to prevent Alzheimer and everything, I used to tell her, tell my name, ask me to get up, then only I'll get up. She'll take 10 minutes because she can't remember. But I don't leave her. And she remembered Giridhar. So what I'm saying, by perseverance, persistence, and I think that 5 P's I put precision, prayer, patience. I think every doctor has to, every junior doctor, maybe MBBS or ophthalmologist should have that. Whatever, maybe your boss can be 100% wrong. So what? Like what is the name? Thomas Alva Edison said, I found out 999 ways how you cannot make a bulb. Same thing, if you are a boss, I remember still Dr. Badrinath, I used to ask him, why are you not doing silicon oil? And he used to tell me, no, till the time you are here, you have to follow what I do. When you leave me, you can do anything. So I remember when I went to Bombay, I started doing explant. He was fighting with me. He had the courage as a teacher. In 88 was a consultant. He said, how can you do explant? So I told him, sir, I didn't get knife. Did you know what he do? He gave me knife. Still I didn't do. But what I'm saying, then I tell all my fellows, you devise a technique after you go. But when you are with me, follow me. And that's why Dr. Badrinath never took an old person. She took one Aruna Parekh from Bombay, and it was a headache for him and us. She was our senior fellow. Because she will come and tell, TB treatment dene ka for CSR. And Dr. Badrinath was such a evidence-based medicine man, or difficult to tackle. And we also put forth with Dr. Chandran Abraham. He was that way a bad teacher. He was so knowledgeable, but he made so much of fear in us, at least in me. I used to forget everything when I go to assist him. Normal step I'll forget. And I remember, I think Giridhar pulled it so much, the muscle came. Whatever. So what I'm saying, teacher can be bad, but I respect him. What I'm trying to tell, you learn everything from any teacher. Everybody will have good and bad. I don't know how many bad things I have. Only that Shivanand always say, hey, see your mirror, man. This is your mirror. Don't tell you are great, he will tell me. That mirror is to know what you are. So as a young doctor also, you'll have a mirror. That means your young staff or some junior will tell you, or your teacher will tell you, you have to correct yourself. So I think the young doctor should be bold, should be respectful to the elders, learn from others, like Isaac Newton said, tall on the soldiers and see the far so you can see more. And also, I think respect everybody's time, respect patient, and see patient as God. Then automatically, don't worry about medical legal cases. Everybody tells me, sir, how do you manage? If you treat the patient as a God or your relative, how can the patient go against you? So luckily, I had not luckily, I think now me and Dr. Badrinath don't believe luck. So Dr. Badrinath taught me 99% hard work. Now I changed it to 99% passion with work and 1% inspiration. So I think work with passion, love, and 1% inspiration. You have to continually be inspired. Read books, as Giridhar said. And Dr. Abdul Kalam told me, if you can't read, he said you can have a friend. So Shivanand is a voracious reader. He can read a book in a day. So whatever book I want to know, I buy and give him. Next day, he will give me the gist. Without asking, he will tell. And same thing Swami Vivekananda did. He could read one encyclopedia daily, and once a librarian asked, you are cheating. He says, no, you asked me a question. So he took the encyclopedia, opened 457th page and asked what is written there. He rattled. He said, how can you do that? He says, concentrate. Concentrate, concentrate, concentrate. So I think you have to concentrate, and that's what we have learned from Dr. Badrinath. While doing surgery, everything, it's a meditation. And I think you have to have a sound mind in a sound body where you have to do exercise. That's why I do dance. And Lord Shiva does, and it is there on that December, Tiruvadadhara Nakshatram. And the symbol of energy is there in Geneva, in the center of whatever that I forgot, where it says that, what is that? Nataraja statue is there, because the sign of Lord Shiva is a or atom. And if you see atom, it has particles, it moves like this, and particles never stop. So that's energy. And Lord Shiva is on the Tiruvadadara Nakshatram during end of December, Arudra Darshanam. Only South Indians do. Whole world does it. And that's the day of energy. So I go to the temple, and Lord Shiva energy you get. And I think you can buy, like the Badrinath never chants or anything, but he prays everything. But I think he's also a man of energy. So he was having the energy of, I think the Giridhar will remember, we one day started operating 8 a.m., finished surgery at 4 a.m. next day. And then he went to the lab and inoculated the endophthalmitis specimen, which he asked me. I said, I don't know how to inoculate. He taught me in the lab. Then he came at 7:45 for dressing. And he expected me, and I was there. Otherwise, you would have finished. If you say, I'm tired and all, you are finished. He said, get lost. This is the way out. So I think young people have to learn that working hard, paying less, and I think Giridhar Gopal Pillai is doing some survey and talking about pay cut and other thing. Anyway, I'm not getting into that. And I had only 2,000 rupees salary as a consultant. And a hospital was earning that time in 86, 40 lakhs a month, because I was doing maximum number of vitreoretinal surgeries in that 1 month, more than even Maithili Shriram and Prema Padmanabhan doing cataract. Because I was operating from morning 8 till night 1. And then whenever any endophthalmitis came, I was operating, because nobody in India was operating. So I think when you're given a chance, don't think about money. And money will come. I think I also borrowed money, and I returned the money. And if you borrow, please return with interest. And I do that. Continuously, I'm doing that. So as a student, I have, it is like Lord Balaji taking loan from Kubera. No? He never returns. But I returned. I went to Balaji Temple, but I returned. So take a loan, return, and don't overdo. So people buy, for example, suddenly like me, you have money, or like Giridhar, and you want to make 10 hospital, and like stupid, you buy 10 hospital, you're in soup. Because then you start managing money and not patients. And that's what I realized. So I didn't start 50 hospital, I'm very happy. But I have trained more than 100 doctors. I have a retina fellow working in Jerusalem, in Tbilisi, Indonesia, maybe Sri Lanka, all over the world, China, and all over India, and even US too. So I think I'm happy that we have trained. I mean, thank God and thank Shankaracharya who told Dr. Badrinath, and I'm doing, and Giridhar is doing. So I think whatever I know, there's no secret. I teach everything, whether it is a personal habit or a surgery or even finance. Everything is an open book. So people tell me, how can you be so Bolenath? But I pray Bolenath, no problem. Nothing happens. Nobody can cheat you. Even if you cheated, they will come and return you. That's what is happening in my life. So for the young person, I think be bold, be strong. You have a problem, go to somebody. I'm 100% people will help. And you no harm in asking your own friends, your own senior, juniors, whatever. What is the problem? And even today, particularly this with the OCT angio and then all these various OCTs. Sometimes I forget this SD OCT, this, that. I act in the front of the patient, but I tell the patient they don't believe me. I don't understand all the layers. And I still remember mugging up the 10 layers of retina. And when I bought the OCT first, Dr. Badrinath asked, what are you going to do with this OCT, Nati? It's a white elephant. It's white in color. He told me. I said, no, sir. We will do something. And it was great. Now you can see, without OCT, even a GP is not, a general ophthalmologist is not practicing. He is making money. And we have the mobile OCT, because Neil Pressler told me, why not you use mobile OCT in Islam? I'm using it now. So I think where there is a will, there is a way, which is their old statement. You will get away and you will be focused like Arjuna did. And that's why I posted on Facebook yesterday from Rohit Shetty. He says, Arjuna said, I have done everything, focusing I'm doing, practice I'm doing. And what are you doing, God? He asked Krishna. And Krishna said, I'm keeping that oil still so that you can see and aim. So that is what you have to know, what is God and what is mentor. So even Usain Bolt, you should meet his in the YouTube, you should see his coach. Usain Bolt's teacher, that is mentor, like Dr. Badrinath for me, he told that you should see Usain Bolt. You tell him anything, he'll do. I did that for Dr. Badrinath. You wash his feet, I'll wash. What is the problem? So I think it's absolutely, I think you did that as a Gurukula. And many times I have seen at 6 o'clock, he'll ask me, Nati, you forgot to eat. He'll say, I said, no problem, sir. I'm learning. I'm assisting. No, please go. I said, no, sir. Till the surgery is over, writing notes, I will not go. And I have at 6 o'clock lunch. What is the problem? Hello?
I think we will.
Yes.
Do we have any more questions or comments, Gopal?
Shubha?
Yeah, so, sir, one more last question, sir. One more last question to you. Are you hearing?
Yes.
Yeah. You have over the years, you have become, as Dr. Giridhar said, president of almost all the societies, and you have done charity, you have made into business, you have done academics, you are the first in India for doing a lot of things. Anything more that you would want to do before, what is the next legacy that you want to leave?
No, as the topic said, truthfully, I want to get the Nobel Prize. And it may, even getting the Nobel Prize, Aditya is there. I hope he'll remember 20 years back, me, my driver, and my son were discussing. So he asked me, what is the Nobel Prize prize money? And I think we found out it was something like 2 point some crore. And now I don't know what is the value. It is 100,000 or 1 million euros, I think, something like that. So whatever is, I don't remember exactly. It's few crores, 1 or 2 crores at least. So he asked me, what will you do? I said, we'll give 10% to the driver, 30% to you, and 60% I'll give it back for research. So my idea is get the money, give it for more research.
Okay, sir.
And
that's great.
My dream is to remove the word blind from the dictionary. That means blindness should be removed. It looks like an impossible task. So I'm starting with diabetic retinopathy. So I'm working on genetics. I'm working on the basic science with the Cleveland clinic. And that's why I don't know whether you remember, I was telling you to talk about cytokines and other things in 3 years back when you told you have an excellent setup. You employ me and give me some money to work with you. I'll come there. I'm not joking. No. I am really interested in doing a PhD, all that to get the Nobel Prize. If you see, every Nobel Prize, I was surprised. First time in my life, I saw the Nobel Prize talk given by Einstein himself. Yesterday, I saw in the night. So, and all these fellows are like that, they are coming. So I want to be like this and give the Nobel Prize after I receive. So if I get Nobel Prize, after that, I don't know what else I'll do. I may do something else also.
Okay, sir.
Swami Chinmayananda taught me in 1977. He Karmanya Adhikaru Mahaphaleshu Kadakshana. He said, work for the fruit. Krishna never said don't work for the fruit. He said work for the fruit, but don't ask what is the fruit. He said don't get attached to the fruit. That's what Bhagavad Gita says again and again. You take Krishna in me and do everything. Or you give up the 5 senses, which I am not able to do. I want spicy food. I want to dance. I want this and pleasure and this. So I decided to create Krishna inside me and do everything, whether humble or a research or dance. So Krishna is with me. That means God in me. And that's why if you go to Swami Vivekananda thing, I'm touching a very sensitive topic. So Ramakrishna Math, he never called it as a Vivekananda Math. Ramakrishna Math is Guru's name. And Guru died in 1883 or something like that. And so the main thing was that we have to, what is that say? I'm saying? So never give up. So he said, keep the goal outstretched. He says, if you want to aim at BA, you aim at MA. If you want to do MA, you aim at PhD. So you always keep the outstretched hand to achieve. That means keep the goal so high that you have to have outstretched hand, not like this. Go and touch something and take it. You want the mobile, you will take it. So you are all the time keep it something where you cannot get. See, there is no ophthalmologist who got after Albert Gulstrand Nobel Prize. So 2011, me and Rohit Shetty celebrated 100 years of ophthalmology, and we are already 110 years. Still no ophthalmologist has got it. I hope I may be there. And the second is, whether you get or not, I'm going to work for it. And there's a book called Roti to Stockholm, which was gifted to me by Dr. Sohan Singh Here. I traveled with him somewhere, I don't remember, from Delhi to Chandigarh for the VRSI meeting only. So he told me that he also wanted to get Nobel Prize, and he says a lot of politics. So the Road to Stockholm is full of writing how there is a politics in the committee. And not only that, our Alvar Gershon was so intelligent, he disproved the theory of relativity to the Nobel Prize Committee in 1921. And Nobel Prize Committee did not have that enough brain to understand him. Then they didn't want to enter the controversy. They postponed the award. Finally, Alvar Gershon made sure in any of the committee meeting, he said, you cannot give to Einstein this theory. And can you believe he also got a Nobel Prize for physics? He is the only guy in 1911 rejected the physics Nobel Prize, and he took the ophthalmology. So I think ophthalmologists have great to do, and I've seen that with Dr. Badinath, Dr. Nakpal, Dr. Namparmal Swami, Steve Charles, Robert McMurray, and that's the only thing I failed. I could not get McMurray to Bombay. Otherwise, I called everybody. But McMurray invited me for his own whale vitrectomy meeting, and even now next year I've accepted. So I think the goal has to be outstretched. And again, in all this, I hope I'm not conveying my, what do you call that, pride or what is that called, ego. So EGO is edging God out. So I told this in Madras Medical College in 1981 when I got this one MBBS degree. Everybody said, "Oh, you'll become a DME, you'll become this and that," because they saw the leadership. I told them I'll be the same nutty. So I'm telling the same here. When I get the Nobel Prize also, I'll be dancing, I'll be talking, I'll talk to all of you, all my juniors the same. And I told some of my friends I'll dance with their granddaughters because I'll be 18. Giridhar will become 80 in another 15 years. I'll be 18. I'll be dancing to his daughters.
Thank you very much, sir. It had been a
sir.
very inspiring day. I mean, almost all the junior ophthalmologists would be thrilled that, 15 years down the line, you are still 18 and shining. And still, you will be going strong for getting that Nobel Prize.
Yeah. Only thing, I color my hair to be 18. I'm also
Thank you.
applying Karopila oil so that I don't lose hair like Giridhar.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure.
Wonderful, yeah.
It
It's been a
is
wonderful
really
evening,
beautiful.
sir.
Phenomenal.
On behalf of the Cochin Ophthalmic Club, the
Kanchana,
Kerala Society of
I still love
Ophthalmic
the
Surgeons,
Kanchana's introduction, no?
on behalf of KSO's Cochin Ophthalmic Club, all the ophthalmologists who are attending this meeting, we express
About 200 of them.
Yeah, about 200 on YouTube, but this will be remain on YouTube, so a lot of people will watch again. Normally, all the COC meetings are watched by about 2,000, 2,500 people, and we have a very vibrant YouTube channel. So, thank you so much, sir. It's been a real pleasure, and we hope and pray that all your dreams, keep on dreaming, and you attain more and more of your dreams.
So
Thank
Abdul
you.
Kalam says, dreams should not allow you to sleep.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care, stay safe, and good night.
So if the live streaming is off, we can talk for 2-3 minutes, I think, no?
Yeah.
Going on. Live
Lo-
streaming is going
we
on.
go off live.